There's been a lot of discussion and articles written about the changing labour market in Canada and how the labour pool is shrinking. Consequently, a lot of organizations are looking to immigration to solve their labour market issue. Certainly it's been written that in the next 2 years, each of the next 2 years, there will be a 0.7% increase in the population of Canada, and 82% of that in each of those 2 years is being attributed to immigration. So if your organization is one that is looking to immigration as a solution to your labor market issue or are looking for talent elsewhere, there's some specific things that you need to keep in mind when you are designing, managing, and communicating your benefits strategy. Firstly, many extended health benefits require that an employee is eligible for provincial healthcare benefits in the province where they reside. This may not be the case with people who have newly landed in Canada and are still waiting for their provincial healthcare benefits to kick in. Many insurers offer a solution with an adjunctive benefits plan that sits on top of their extended healthcare coverage and mimics the basic healthcare coverage provided by provincial healthcare plan. Also, it's important to keep in mind that the concept of a dependent in another country might be very different than it is in Canada. It's very common for an extended family to live together and share a residence and their resources in many other countries. It's very important for a human resource person who is onboarding a new immigrant to Canada to explain what a dependent is here, and that under the Income Tax Act, the dependent definition is actually broader. So it's possible for someone to claim expenses that related to their extended family under their taxes when they file. Communications is a really key driver of a successful benefits plan that includes a substantial new Canadian population. There may be a real challenge with understanding some of the more technical or legal jargon that comes along with claims forms and benefit books, and it's really important that an HR professional who's orienting or onboarding a new Canadian checks back in with that person to ensure that what they think they explain to them is actually understood. Cultural sensitivity is something that's certainly addressed by HR policy around new immigrants to Canada in terms of making sure that their cultural background or ethnic background are met with respect in the workplace. Cultural sensitivity in terms of a benefits plan, however, is a little bit different. You have to really understand the labor and benefits environment that the person has come from. For example, if they've come from a country that's very much an acquired rights environment, there may be an expectation from them that any promises that you make or an innocent comment that is made to them is now a promise that is not going to be reneged on, and the employer might be stuck. So cultural sensitivity here is just really understanding where the person has come from and what the environment is there. A valued benefit to a Canadian employee may be very different than a valued benefit to an employee from elsewhere. For example, here in Canada, orthodontics tend to be very popular. A very generous vision benefit is always very popular. But elsewhere, things that apply to status are substantially more valuable than things that aren't. So recruitment strategy might have to address those things instead of things that are typically seen as very valuable in Canada. And lastly, it's really important to ensure that there's emotional support available for your new employee. These people may be coming to Canada and leaving their families behind, with their families to follow later, or leaving their extended family or their friends behind. So being in Canada or being in any country where it's new can be a very confusing and lonely experience. Employers often can turn to their EAP or their Employee Assistance Program as a source of information and support for these employees, and it should really be a key part of an integration strategy. Also, employees from other countries who are more comfortable in another language can often access resource and support in the language with which they're most comfortable, so the focus becomes support and not so much on comprehension.